Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dworkin, and I'm a managing partner at 4D Capital. We specialize in a very unique mathematical approach to the stock market where we analyze the market and individual stocks in multidimensional space. And when we do, essentially perfect order emerges. On top of that, we've developed a number of very powerful timing indicators over the years. And when we combine both of those factors together, we can very often predict with exact accuracy in both time and price and on multiple time frames exactly what their underlying equity or the overall stock market will do going forward. I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies. We're going to be looking at Facebook, or Meta as it is known now. Today I'm going to tell you exactly what the stock is doing, why it's doing it. But before we do, just a very quick introduction. Basically, our primary goal at our firm is to identify equities that will 2x, 5x, 10x, and do so within a relatively short period of time. So in essence, we're looking for the next NVIDIA, Apple, Bitcoin, Tesla, and so forth. But we have a secret weapon as compared to everybody else, obviously, is looking for the same thing. But we have a secret weapon, and that secret weapon is our software that has been developed on top of our mathematical and timing work. And what we can do, for example, we can scan the entire S&P 500. And we're looking for major bottoms that are coming up for important stocks, for example. As you know, it's a lot easier to make money on the long side. So we can identify the short opportunities as well, but we typically try to shy away from them for various reasons. But skipping all of that, so what our software is able to do, and I'll show you in relation to Facebook, is to identify those very important bottoms, and then it can project exactly what the stock is going to do next in both price and time from those bottoms with extreme accuracy. Once again, I will show you in case of a Facebook that we analyzed today. So with that said, let's jump into Facebook, see what it's doing, why it's doing it, what it's going to do going forward. So hopefully you can benefit from that. So this is the breakdown for Facebook. Let me unclick this here for a second so it makes it a little bit clear. Facebook is doing exactly what it should be doing. It is following our exact forecast to the T. And basically what you're seeing here, and by the way, if you're familiar with our work, you can skip forward probably 3 or 4 minutes and we're going to be in the midst of our forecast. But I'm going to explain here for those new subscribers or visitors that are looking at our analysis for the first time. So what you see here at the bottom on top of the chart is what we call cycle composite, and it's a very simplistic representation of a very complex mathematical concept where we essentially scan the chart back in multidimensional space, we identify those composites, and then we project them into the future. And as you can see, obviously the bottom composites are responsible for the bottoms. Long-term, short-term, this is a long-term composition. We can continue to break them down until we get into intraday. And the top ones are responsible for the tops. As you can see, it's working out very well. Now, what makes matters even a little bit more complicated, there's typically multiple composites running for any individual stock or the overall stock market. So I typically use Dow Jones as an example. And in Dow Jones, we have 2 lower composites and 2 upper composites running at the same time. But if you combine them together, you can very accurately essentially replicate what you see on the 2-dimensional time and price chart in terms of the actual movement of the underlying equity. So you can replicate this line is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so cycle composites get us into the neighborhood of an upcoming turning point. Usually they have plus or minus 2 months associated with them, margin of error, depending on the length of the cycle, as is the case here. That's a pretty good estimate here. And then we have something that we call cycle clusters. And cycle clusters are essentially a very similar concept, but at the same time very different. Also very complex mathematical concept. And we scan the chart back in time, going back in multidimensional space. But this time around, we use our proprietary cycles that we've developed over the years, and then we project them into the future. What we found over the years is that very important turning points, or not so important, depending once again on the time frame you're looking at. It's just, you either zoom in or zoom out. You know the drill. But basically, what we found over the years is that important turning points happen not when any particular cycle arrives, but when there's a multitude of cycles. A cycle cluster that has, let's say, 2, 5, 10 cycles arriving at the same time. The more cycles, the better, the longer term they are, the better, okay? So as an example, once again, Dow Jones, March 6th, 2009, as you know, very important bottom for the Dow Jones and the overall market. At that time, we had 15 powerful long-term cycles arriving within a 3-day window. So anybody who kind of familiar with this work, they would be very much aware, because the stock market has declined so much or substantially into that particular bottom, you would be looking for an important bottom, and that particular time juncture would allow, or that particular time cluster would allow you to determine that yes, this is indeed a very important turning point. And as we look back, we very much know that that was indeed a very important bottom at that time. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that cycle clusters or composites will get us into the neighborhood, and cycle clusters get us the actual date. So if you look here, for example, at this cluster that was very near to the top in August, we had, it's not showing me, it's actually behind my, so we had 2 cycles, and the actual top, we had 5 cycles, okay? So very, very clear hit right here at the top. And as you can see, we hit the major cycle bottom here, okay? So now let's just jump into the forecast. So basically what you're witnessing here is that the Facebook or Meta, I keep calling it Facebook. I like it better that way, a little bit sentimental in those terms. But we hit a major cycle bottom, I'm sorry, we hit a major cycle top right here, which is represented by this top in early August at approximately $800 a share. And we're declining into a major cycle bottom, which is scheduled for the 4th quarter of 2026, in line with the overall market composition. So that we had the major top here, and then we're declining, and as you can see, by the gap, that is indeed happening perfectly. Okay, so that was our original forecast, and it is playing out as anticipated. Now, once this major cycle once this major cycle bottom is put in place in 4th quarter of 2026, we anticipate Facebook to increase quite dramatically and substantially going forward. We're not even looking at that. We are concentrating at the bottom at this point in time, but it's going to be a very wonderful accumulation opportunity at that time. So the question becomes, how far will we go to the downside? Where is the bottom? So this is yet another 3-dimensional representation of our mathematical concept. I know it doesn't make much sense to you, but it makes perfect sense to us. So let me just highlight 2 possible completion points for Facebook. This is one of them. So as you can see, the price is approximately $375 plus or minus $25. We can narrow it down with the short-term work once we get closer to that particular juncture. We're not interested at this time because it's going to be quite a bit of time, a year before we get to this particular bottom. But this is one of them. So one of them is $375 plus or minus $25. And this is the secondary target, which is approximately located at, let's say, $300 plus or minus $20. Thereabout. Okay, so these are the 2 very good targeting areas for the bottom for Facebook, and once again it will represent a very good accumulation area for those long-term holders, because once the bottom is going to is put in place, it's essentially going to reverse and have a quite substantial rally into that 2028-2029 period of time, surpassing this time. So as of now, if you want to play, well, actually, I should disclose probably that we've been short Facebook since approximately this level right here, right before the April top. Actually, we went short right at the top, I believe at $730, I think it's a bit late to play on the short side. There is just too much, not enough cheese left, so to speak. So it would be better, in our view, to kind of sit on the sideline in terms of the overall stock here and wait for this bottom to arrive, and then it's going to be a very wonderful buying opportunity at that time. So that's it for Facebook or Meta. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be back with another update tomorrow with probably Bank of America. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. We do have a free trial associated with our work. I always forget to say that. It's a wealth of information, not only overall stock market, mega cap stocks like Facebook here. We also have fast movers, super equities. We have trading parameters. So just a wealth of information. If you would be interested in that, please sign up. Not sign up. The link is in the description of this video. Please request it and we'll set you up. Also, we have a webinar coming up on November 14th, which is next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be very interesting. We talk about the overall stock market composition, which we typically shy away from. We also showcase our software and how it is able, for example, scan the entire S&P 500 and tell you exactly which stocks will appreciate quite significantly going forward. And we also show you how we calculate the market in multidimensional space. So it's going to be a wonderful opportunity to get yourself familiar with our work and see some very cool stuff. So then again, that's it. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll be back with another update tomorrow. Bye-bye.